I think this is really valuable stuff for people, especially up and coming artists, to be aware of, right? So, thank
Yeah,
you,
you definitely.
anyone who's tuning in to my chat with Debbie from Sync Vault. I am so excited to be sitting here with you. She is in the United Kingdom. I am in Colorado. So we talk just about every week, I think. And
Yeah,
so for me,
pretty
it's
much.
early in the morning, and for you, it's usually like 3, 4 o'clock. Thanks
Yeah.
for being with me. And how's your week going so far?
Really good. I can't believe it's already Wednesday because we've been
Right?
planning this for a while now, and it's just like, well, here's 1st of May
Yeah.
as well, so I can't complain. A new month. Yeah. And yourself, how's things with you?
Oh, things are great. I know that I've been sharing with you over the last several months about my first project and then the next mixtape and then some other songs that I've been writing. So I feel like I really got into it and I kind of caught the songwriting bug, you know? I feel
Nice.
like it's a blast. I feel like it's entertaining. I feel like I enjoy the growth that comes with each and every experience that comes with it. I told you, I think it was last week that I did my first live performance. So I've really just
Yeah.
been really focused on growing and thinking about the next steps, right? Because I think we all know it is sometimes hard to build momentum in this industry as an independent
Gosh.
artist, especially. And I know you have a lot of background in music even before you came to Sync Vault,
Yeah.
producing and making beats and as an artist yourself. I was wondering if you could tell me a little bit about what led you to Sync Vault and why this company resonated with you.
Oh, that's. I'll try and keep it short and sweet.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you touched on. I used to produce and DJ. So I started off DJing in the UK London scene around Afro beats before anyone knew what Afro beats was.
Right.
And then while doing that, I was working with a promotions company that deal with radio pluggers, and I was like, oh, I can kind of do half and half. So I built up a career as a radio plugger. So I worked with UK acts, international acts, and took them to radio stations, nurtured their relationships with DJs and radio programmers, and built their profile up. And I did that for 6 to 7 years. So it
Wow.
was quite a while. Yeah, so I felt I'd reached the limit, not the limit, but enough to take my expertise and experience to another space. And the opportunity for Syncful came up. They were looking for someone that's tech savvy as well as just ready to plug the network of music with tech and bring those two worlds and communities together. And yeah, and 2 years down the line, here I am, still at Syncful, still waving the flag.
I love it. So you were at okay. So I thought you were newer last year when we first connected. Because remember how I was connected originally with Tim, and then he left, and then I was connected to you. So you were at Syncfall even way before that. It sounds like.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So
Okay.
I was kind of working in the background. I had my team, so Tim was part of the team. And then since he left, I kind of went through, we were doing a lot of changes within the organization. And I was reaching back to people that we'd spoken to or we'd had campaigns with and just trying to build and nurture that relationship. And, I went through Tim's list and I saw your name there, listened to some of your tracks. I sent you an email and you replied. So, can't complain.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. No, it was like fate. I think that we came together like that. I'm so happy about it.
Definitely.
For anybody who is unfamiliar with SyncVault, do you think you could do like a little layman's terms, like how does it work? So coming into this, my whole mindset was okay, it's really hard to make money in music, right? You can get paid for performances, you get some pennies on album sales or streams, and sync licensing or placement into something such as a YouTube video, a commercial, a TV show, a movie. That is how money is made these days through music a lot of times. And so I was referred to your platform. So I was wondering if you could tell me just a little bit kind of layman's terms. I'm still learning, and anybody that's interested in this industry or maybe monetizing music, how SyncVault works for both the artists and the creators.
Okay, definitely. I'll try and break it down. So essentially, we've got two clienteles or two audiences that come onto the platform. So from an artist's point of view, they want to promote their music. They want to reach different communities. And what we do initially on the platform is we help artists promote their music through our content creators that are on the platform. We initially started off with artists based on YouTube's platform because that's where our partnership was with YouTube. So we were able to see the back end and kind of tailor the platform. So, if you wanted to tap into a community and say South America and your music was Spanish based, we could target those creators on our platform. Then if you flip it to the other side for the creator, their benefit is that they get claim-free music and they can sometimes earn if the artist has a budget or if it's a label that comes onto the platform to promote their music. So that was how it first originated. But now the business model is kind of built out. So a lot of artists would come to us and they would say, oh, but I haven't even done my distribution, or I don't really know how content ID works, because you need to adjust certain elements on your track for content ID, which is where there's a disconnect. So we started providing distribution services and content ID management, so that if you have a release strategy in mind, say at the beginning of this year, you want to release 5 tracks, you can come to us and say, this is the tracks that I want to release. Can you help create a strategy around that for distribution, content ID collection, and promotion? And the great thing I think about our platform is that with content ID, instead of waiting every quarter or so that you would wait for royalties,
Right.
we pay out every 30 days. So an artist can somewhat create a sustainable career in making sure that their music's on YouTube, which is still the #1 platform for discovering music worldwide. People forget that.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's our services, all the services in a nutshell. I look after more the promotion and the music that's on the platform for the creators and the artists,
Yeah.
and I work with labels as well. And then my team member Marina deals with distribution and content ID. So yeah, we're kind of like a given a guiding post for artists, but also giving them advice as well, because we can give you the tools and we can give you some advice because our backgrounds are all in music. Like Marine is a producer and DJ. A lot of us within the team are musicians or producers as well.
Yeah, well that's beautiful because you guys understand it, you've lived it, you love it. It's not just like
Yeah.
something where you're like, oh, I'm gonna do this. It's like you feel it in your soul. You've been there. You are there. You mentioned content ID, and I just kind of cringe a little bit, just because,
Oh no.
just because
Oh no.
of our experience. So, just in case nobody is familiar with my story around this and how I'm making music. So, basically, I am working primarily with the company in the United Kingdom as well on all of my beats, right? And they are beautiful beats. I am in love with almost everyone that I hear and I choose for my music. And I purchase, as a non exclusive beat, I purchase the rights to take the track outs, take the stems, sell the music, have
Yeah.
monetization rights in sometimes unlimited cases of monetization rights. But the one thing that has turned out to be the challenge is this whole content ID thing on a non exclusive beat. And that has been my challenge so far in monetizing through this platform. I know I have an email from one of your team about turning something off for the songs that don't have that issue, and I'm working on that. But I just want to share that my challenge right now has been that so many of my songs that I've recorded are on non-exclusive beats, so I can't use the content ID. What I wanted to share with people is that there's 2 scenarios where that's not the case at the moment. So the first is the very first song that I did, where I worked with the producer on building an exclusive beat just between him and I. And then the second song was actually the Free Reign featuring Snoop Dogg song, where I connected with another producer in Los Angeles and we were able to put it on a new beat that was also exclusive. Nobody else in the world has that beat. So it was kind of a little bit of a workaround, but I think it works and it puts my mindset into the future. Okay, so if I'm gonna work with Syncvault on a certain number of songs, those songs need to have an exclusive type of beat. So there is a workaround, but just as a warning to anybody that's using non-exclusive beats, if you are on a non-exclusive beats, you're probably going to run into the same issue I did with monetizing through Syncvault. So I just wanted to put that out there real quick.
Yeah, no problem at all. And it's just not even a rule that we've created. Unfortunately, it's YouTube's
It's
rule.
YouTube, yeah.
So anytime anyone buys a non-exclusive beat, they won't deal with monetization, because can you imagine thousands of artists that have used the track all saying they own ownership on that.
Right.
It becomes worse than the licensing structure in music that already exists.
Right,
And they're
right.
trying to come up with a solution, and their solution is we're just not going to get involved, and that's it.
Right. Well, I do want to say though that last time I checked, the Snoop Dogg song, the remix on the exclusive beat, it had 50 or 100,000 views or something, just based on the people in your community who have put it into their videos, and so it's been shared. So it actually is a really amazing form of distribution, and I must say that your platform is very, when you get into the back end and you're able to see everything, it's very intuitive, it's very snapshot. It is a very, very neat tool to help artists. And I understand that you guys are really advocating for the up and coming artists, right? Not the ones necessarily that are represented by these huge record labels, but ones that are up and coming. I mean, anybody can use it, but that's sort of true.
Yeah, to be honest, the platform's open to everyone.
Right.
Whether you're signed, whether you're still just trying to work out where you sit, or you're an emerging artist. I think what a lot of people forget is technology should be used as a tool. It shouldn't be used as what you solely rely on. And yes, the signed labels have that big engine behind them, but you've got tech that can help you, push you, and cut through that noise, which unfortunately, like, I'm not sure if it's gone up, but it's like 200,000 tracks every day get released. And that's a lot of music.
Yeah. Yeah. You think about the number of minutes of music that are out there. It's like,
So what we're trying to do is also try to have you resonate with these communities as well, because the more music you put on our platform, the more creators say, oh yeah, that's Paul's track. Yeah, I supported the last one, so I'm going to do it again. And then their audience starts to know you too. And it kind of creates that organic momentum as well. And it's working. I think we ran a YouTube and a short form TikTok campaign for you. So thank you. And thank you for saying those kind words. I know the team will appreciate it as well, because I'm just the face at the moment, but there's a team behind me in the background doing all the work as well.
No, absolutely. That is beautiful. You guys help me really get started. I mean, there's not a lot of places, I think, these days when you're working with online companies where you actually have a chance to sit and look someone eye to eye and build a relationship. So that has really meant the world to me, and just the help of you and your team, it has really kind of helped launch me into this direction on the technology side of the house. And actually, so I remember when we were first talking and you were going through your deck with me, and you shared with me a very famous artist who started on your platform. I think his name, I don't know how to say it, it's like JVK. Is it Jake?
It's Jake.
It's Jake. Okay. Yeah. No, I know his song. He's like, in your golden hour. I know that song.
I'll let the singer sing.
Yeah, you know. But I was wondering if you could maybe, I think that's a really fun story. Maybe if you could just share a little bit about that, the use of the platform.
Yeah, so Jake's campaign came onto our platform with one of our old colleagues, and she was working with AWOL. At the time, AWOL doesn't they provide you with label services. So Jake wasn't signed, and he had the track that you were just singing, it's just lost from my memory, but came onto the platform. He had a budget of roughly $1,000. And this was when Shorts no one really understood shorts and the power of shorts, YouTube shorts. So we brought the track onto the platform, and people lapped it up with shorts. They were creating shorts into that hook that you just sang. And that kind of powered the long form campaign as well. And he saw our campaigns run for 4 months. So in that 4 months, we were able to calculate, where the different metric points. And we saw that he increased his revenue by over, dare I say, over $160,000 within that. And that's just royalty from streaming. I'm not too sure anything else. And we can honestly say we were part of that marketing mix. And we calculated for every person, every UGC content created from our creators cost him about 6 pence from his $1,000 budget. And you can imagine that we were able to drive down the cost because of so many people on our platform using it. It stands at 27,000 creators globally at the moment. Wow. So you can create a network effect by just pushing the music on our platform, saying, look, free creative freedom. Just let the creators do what they do best.
Right.
And organically tap into their communities. And it worked with Jake. I'm not too sure if he's signed. I believe so. We worked on that campaign. It was great. And we've had other artists as well, like Nile Rodgers. We've had Jungle, Prima Queen from the UK. So we do have a lot of artists that have come onto the platform, and they're all in different stages of their careers. So we don't try and say one campaign fits all. We have conversations. Like the way I've spoken to you, I've spoken to numerous artists, and I spend time. I make sure that even though I only have 9 to 5 working hours, I will try and get back to you and be as responsive as I can be.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we only have so many hours in a day, and there's things pulling at us from all different directions. I mean, I just think it's amazing that you have those stories you can think of. You have a platform that anyone, like you said, at any stage of their career can go in and utilize to get more exposure and grow even more. Let me ask you this. So I'm working on my next project. I have like 20 songs coming out. And so what I'm doing is I am starting by just doing my songs with these beats that I love through Anno Domini Nation, but I know that most of them are gonna have the same trouble as the last ones because of the non-exclusivity. So do you think this is a good approach for me, right? I'm getting my stuff out, and then I'm thinking of taking it to a producer or a few different people to try to elevate some of the songs, right? So maybe we'll remix the vocals, we'll redo the volumes and the mixing, and we'll put it onto a new beat that I could therefore introduce that song with the exclusive beat into your platform. And so I'm just curious if you think that is a good approach with somebody who is starting with these non-exclusive beats and loves them, but also wants to be able to use your platform, right? So it's like re-releasing them, kind of like the Snoop Dogg song.
Okay, there's 2 options. You can go down that route, which can be costly because you're going to produce it for each beat. And if you wanted to solely promote on YouTube, within YouTube's community and platform, then I would say yes, you just have to weigh the cost. But then we also have TikTok, Instagram campaigns here as well. Those campaigns don't require content ID because you've already sent the music to those platforms' libraries. So we can run a campaign. It just depends on where do you feel that you will find the best return on investment. Is it investing in another set of beats, or is it using the short form to kind of tap into another community that kind of likes that kind of quick music, quick intake of content? So they'd like that. For me personally, I would do an A/B. I would maybe use the short form, the TikTok and the Instagram Reels campaigns, right? Because you've already distributed those 20 tracks, and then see which ones people pick, and then go to the producer and say, look, these are the lead singles that everyone likes. Let's elevate it, and then run a whole campaign and kind of
That is
And
genius.
I'm
No, I was just gonna say, so we could take all 20, for example, and put them into a TikTok or something where where the content ID is not involved, right? And then
yes.
we could see which ones do the best. And then I could say, okay, Mr. Producer, I have this budget, I have these songs. What can we do to kind of put them on something unique that is exclusive to me? And then we can talk about splits and get the lawyers involved and all that shit, right?
There you go. Yeah, we just created that now,
we
and
just
sometimes
yeah, we just came up with that together. I love it.
you see, to be honest, I think that's the great thing, and I'll say our friendship because I feel like over the past months now we've developed a friendship. Is
Absolutely.
that I've realized having these conversations is where you hash out the ideas. This is where you create these different points and metrics and understanding what exactly you want to achieve. Sometimes what I understand will happen in the back end, and then it comes into this nice, sweet middle ground. And,
Right, right.
it's win-win for both sides. So, yeah.
Right, right. Because I can tell you where I'm coming from. You can tell me where you're coming from based on your experience and your knowledge of the platform. And then it's like, okay, this is where I'm coming from. This is where I want to go. Where is that middle ground? Like you're talking about. Yeah. And you get
Yeah.
there. You get there by talking. It's sometimes really hard to sort that out through an email or through a text message,
No,
right? So
yeah, I agree.
yeah. The one thing that this is a little outside of the scope of like what we do
Okay.
just a little bit, but after that, like let's bring it back and see what other things you want to ask me and like in regards to the campaigns and stuff. But I'm just curious if some artist wants to monetize, do sync licensing outside of sync vault, right? So but it's not in your purview either, so it's not YouTube, it's not TikTok, but say they want to put it into a motion picture or a TV show or a commercial, where would you recommend people start to look for opportunities like that? I get some emails. I've heard of this company called Music X-Ray, and the only reason I mention it is because I don't think it's a direct competitor of yours, right? It's not the YouTube thing. Just curious if you have any ideas for when people want to take their music to these large production companies and things like that.
So it's a difficult one because a lot of the times music like this is either pitched through a label or sometimes the music supervisors go onto playlists and kind of go through moods and stuff. What I did in the past, personally for me, I was close to getting a sync deal with Sorok a few years ago.
Oh, nice.
And what I did was I gathered a list of music supervisors. So you can go on LinkedIn, just put in music supervisor and different names will come up. Have your pitch ready, have a playlist ready of your original music. So say if you want to pitch to a movie that's all about cinematic sounds, call it that. Put all your cinematic music in there and send that email to them. You never know. You just never know.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's something because they're having so much music sent to them, so much. It's better for you to try and do it that way and be the one to actually take that leap.
Right, right. Drive it. Be assertive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Apart from that, the only other, it's through your label or through your sometimes publisher. And it's also going out to events and networking. Wherever there's going to be, take for example, any music events and because within labels, they have sync, people that work solely on sync and getting sync placements. So
Right.
once you go to a networking event, speak to someone from a label and say, look, do you have someone that works in sync? I would love to push, because that could be another way into the label. Instead of going directly to the label manager and saying, look, here's my music, sign me. Right, actually, I want to speak to your sync person.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
will kind of actually make them think, oh, okay, fine,
Yeah.
I'll do the intro.
Yeah.
But and they can work as a team within the label to kind of drive your music as well if they know that you already have a plan, which isn't just a commercial success in being an artist. You want to have kind of like an all round. You've got that entrepreneurial spirit.
Amazing, amazing. I am thinking back to a conference that I went to in San Francisco. It was 10 years ago now. It was before I was doing the music. And I was there for a technology type of thing. We were doing like web calendars, and this was a type of event that we wanted to kind of target in terms of the technology. So I was just there kind of networking, talking to people, meeting a lot of different people. And I remember meeting this artist. You've probably heard of him. His name is Chameleonaire, and
Oh
he
yeah,
was he was talking about. I think it was. I can't even remember now, but it was the changes in the tech industry and the music industry and how it was kind of all coming together. I don't remember the exact topic, but it's something along those lines. And
yeah,
that just opened my mind when you start talking about networking with these people that might be in sync licensing, might be in the record labels, because I do have a list of all these record label contacts, but there's nothing like meeting somebody in person and being able to look them in the eyes, like connect on a human level. It does not compare the emails and the texts and all of that, even phone calls. Like, I think
yeah,
events like that is really, really a good advice for people. And just so you know, my mindset right now is kind of like I'm trying to create some type of a breakthrough moment, right? That I can
yeah.
therefore capitalize on. So whether it's a specific video or a specific song, or maybe I do a live performance, it's some type of breakthrough, breakout, as long as it's not a breakdown type of moment that's gonna help me build some momentum that I can capitalize on, right?
Yeah, and that's it. You have it's being consistent and being persistent as well. Unfortunately, actually, it's not just the music industry; it's in life as well.
Yeah.
Anything that you want to achieve, you have to kind of be consistent. Understand, look, you might have some challenges, but that makes you stronger. So that when that next, obstacle comes, you're ready.
Right.
You're like, oh, I just got past that. I can. This is going to be easy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm so blessed and grateful that you wanted to take me on this journey with you on your musical career, and I can see you just going further and further, just because of who you are as a person, first and foremost, and just the work rate as well. Or honestly,
Oh, that
like
is so
it's
sweet.
really no
You gonna
problem
make
at
me
all.
blush.
No
Wow.
problem at all.
Wow. I think I benefit from a background in like sales and stuff like that, so I understand the persistency side of it. You can't just wait
Mm.
around like picking your nose, waiting for things to come. You got to make things happen, right?
Yeah,
so, um,
literally.
no, I love being on this journey with you, and I think this is something that can continue for a very long time between us, and we can help other
Definitely.
people and do little chats like this from time to time, give people some tips and like maybe some inspiration in terms of, launching their own stuff. So I'm all in.
I'm definitely like it's actually quite refreshing as well. Because now you're gonna upload this,
Yeah.
and instead we're having this conversation one on one, but it's gonna reach so many people, and it's almost like we create that network effect as well. And this is just us. This is literally how we have conversation
Yeah,
almost
yeah.
every other week.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, we're
So
not we're not
it,
acting. This is just us.
no,
Yeah.
literally. And
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, I'm looking forward to the different milestones you're going to achieve. And I want to come out and come and just visit Colorado and just see how things are. And whenever you come to the UK, you're always welcome as well. So,
Absolutely. Yeah, I stay in Colorado. I also anticipate I might be spending some more time on the coasts as I go as well. So, yeah, of course, there's LA and New York. I tend to like LA more personally just because it's sprawling. There's space to
mm,
spread out. Like in New York, it's amazing and everybody's like on their shit, but it's just like everybody's on top of each other. Like it's just like
yeah,
ah,
yeah.
like
I think I spent 2 months in LA and it
yeah.
was so refreshing. There's so much space. I was sorry to do this on our talk,
No,
but I
no.
was the impression that LA was quite small. But then
Oh,
I went to like places like Santa Monica and all those areas, and I was just like, there is space. Like London's small.
yeah,
London's minute
yeah,
compared
yeah.
to the amount of scenery, and it was just meeting different people, and it's very relaxed. Yes, there's some interesting parts of it,
Right,
like
right.
any world, but yeah, I'm imagining Colorado is similar in regards to space as well.
Yeah, so I would say Colorado and like Denver Metro reminds me more of LA than it does
Okay.
of like New York or London or anything like that.
Mm.
There's a lot of, suburbs outside of Denver that are still a part of the metro area. I think
Okay.
also in LA, most people would agree you have to have a car there. You can't get on the tube, you can't get in the subway. Like you gotta have a
Right.
car in LA. It's kind of the same type of vibe here. And also, I do notice as I talk to people and go out, there's a lot of parallels between people here and people in Southern California, LA, San Diego. A lot of people go back and forth. I don't know why that
Oh.
is, or maybe I just run into them for some reason, but
Yeah,
yeah,
you're attracting that energy towards you, maybe,
yeah,
maybe.
yeah,
That's quite interesting.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Absolutely. Is there anything you wanted to like ask me that we didn't cover or anything you want to highlight?
I did have some questions, but you literally covered them all.
Okay. Okay, good.
Yeah. So I was
Good.
like, oh, okay, it makes sense. I guess I'm looking forward to the next stage, the next part of the journey, and how we can help you in the promotion side and distribution as well. And yeah, and coming back online and speaking to people about what we've achieved as well.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm so excited. So, I am going to wrap this up. I'm going to say that I really enjoyed this conversation as I enjoy all
Thank
of our
you.
conversations. And I
Likewise.
think that we were able to kind of break it down in a way that's consumable because sometimes like we said you go online you read all this stuff and it's just like eyes glaze over but when you have a conversation about it it makes it real and it makes
Yeah,
it tangible so I think that we were able to talk about what we needed to talk about and hopefully provide some context for people who are either in this industry getting into this industry or just interested in the topic, right?
definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. And I hope so. Thank you again for.
Thank you, Debbie. We'll talk again soon. This is just number one. We'll have a number two and a number three coming up soon.
Take care.
Take care.